Hey Olivia, this is Mr. Nicholson answering your questions. So let's answer the first one about the data. So this is the age data, which you have correct. Everything's fine there. Now, the line graph, the problem on the line graph is you've got two values here. And the bar graph is fine. Scatter graph is fine. The line graph, we've got one extra thing here. So the best thing to do is to go up here and edit chart, and it's a line chart, and the data that you're going to click, so you click select data range, and what we have is two sets of data. We don't want, the first set is the actual x-axis. This is the y-axis, so we don't want that. We're going to get rid of that one so that you can see the graph looks more appropriate. And then as far as the series, the x-axis, so we can click on this x-axis, and what we can do is we can then go to your tab data saving, and we can just highlight the age part, and then we say OK. So now you can see, let me just close this. So now you can see savings over lifetime. You've got savings over here, age there, and everything's fine. They should look similar to each other. The column chart, goes up till 60 and then it comes down. The scatter plot does the same thing. It was just the line graph had too much information on it. So that's the first part. Now the second part, your data, I did put these together. So this is your pie plot. And you'll notice that this blue goes with this blue over here, but there's no legend. So there's a mismatch there. So what we're going to do is we're going to edit the chart, and the data is, again, the data are the actual numbers. So that would be the percentages. It'll actually calculate the percentages for you. So what actually we're going to do is we're going to choose select data range. We're going to just delete these two. Well, we're going to, now it's, so what we'll do is we'll delete that. So just highlight it and delete it. And then go to your animal harvest data and pick these 5 cells. So that's the harvest. Okay, so we'll say OK. Now we still don't have the legend, so we have to go to labels. So we click on the label waffle over here, and then we go to scroll over to our data, and our labels are the kind of animals. So we highlight deer through squirrel, say OK, and now you can see that this matches up with that. There is one problem, is we're not going to use column A as labels, and we're not going to use row 2 as headers, because what that does is it took away the squirrel. So we're going to turn those off. So the label is, so let's click on this again. So the label is A2 through A6, and the data is going to be B2 colon B6. Now, probably want to show percentages, so let me see if I can find that. So I think you go to customize, and then you'd so let's see what it says. Series, I don't think that's it. Pie chart. What I'm looking for is actually showing the numbers. I don't see any numbers on there. You can see they pop up when you put your cursor over top of them. But I wanted to do was to have the stuff printed out. So let's try legend. And see, this is a legend. So I don't, like I said, what I'm looking for is where I can do percentages, and it shows up as percentages. Let's just close this thing, see what happens. Well, that's probably good enough. I would have liked to have seen the percentages without me having to hover over top of them. So if you didn't get that, just rewind, stop it. So your final thing should look like this. You had one where half of it had no label, and that was not so good.